You wouldn't go out of my house looking like that.
But why wouldn't you?
Because it gives the appearance of evilness. I know that you people are godly, wonderful people, but it's the appearance that scares me to death. I don't think the way those children dress is proper.
This super religious mom has to switch lives on the show Wife Swap with a rocker/gothic family, and she loses her freaking mind over it. Like, literally, the experience for her is so terrible to be around these people that, I don't know, express themselves and like a different genre of music than she does. Basically, having to live through that for a couple weeks is enough to make her push herself to the brink multiple times and break down into tears. Drop a like if you've been enjoying these Wife Swap videos. I'm gonna get back into them, and without further ado, let's get into it, shall we?
These people are obviously into some Gothic type stuff. I'm very afraid.
So this Karen's first time walking into her new family's house, and these people are into rock music, or I guess punk music more specifically, and they have some, I guess, Gothic looking decorations in their house. Overall, nothing even too serious. I mean, they got baby blue walls, for crying out loud. Like, obviously, they're not fully into this whole aesthetic. But this woman who you're seeing right now, she is a very, very religious woman, and she pretty much instantly writes these people off as devil worshippers for having decorations like this.
I do the cooking and cleaning because we believe that the man rules the house. Bill rarely helps out in the kitchen. He believes that it's woman's work.
So the first woman you saw, we're not going to be seeing much of her this episode. Don't worry, I'm making a video on that side of things later this week. But she's just reading the kind of rules of this religious mother's household, and basically, it is so unequal. We're definitely going to get into that in part 2. But just wait until you hear some of the freaking crap that she is saying here about her own children. I actually cannot believe somebody has children that seems to hate them as much as this woman does.
It's hard for us to accept that someday our kids won't be a part of our daily life. It's breaking Ellen's heart. Oh, well, they are a good little family. They're just filthy.
What the hell, dude? The judgment from this woman is insane. Like, literally, as soon as she stepped foot in these people's houses, she was judging them for their decor and how, quote, messy their environment is. A little spoiler, there's not many clips I can show you of their house being crazy messy because, well, it's not that insanely messy. In fact, it's one of the least messy houses they've had on this show when it comes to the one side that's obviously supposed to be kind of like hoarder-like. They seem to do that on this show a lot. And these people aren't even that bad, but to her, she's like, oh yeah, they're filthy. It's kind of weird they actually love their kids though, because I figured if you got a dirty house, you can't possibly love your kids.
We do the best we can, and we're just trying to get by until the kids go off to college. We can't wait for them to leave home.
And again, you're seeing this woman react to what this lady's saying about her own kids. They literally had them almost out of requirement. Like, they thought, oh, we need to be a nuclear family, get married, have children. Then they had their kids and they freaking hate their guts. They're like, yeah, I can't wait for him to turn 18 and get the hell out of this house, even though it was absolutely my choice to have this child. It's like the most backwards thought process of all time.
Oh my God.
The kids don't go to school. They homeschool themselves every day from noon to 2 p.m.
Okay, and I will admit this is actually something that this lady is not really being a Karen about. This actually truly is pretty bad in terms of the more rock and roll family that she's joining. They only make their kids go to homeschooling for 2 hours a day, and they don't even supervise the kids when it comes to homeschooling. I'm sorry, I'm not against you wanting to school your child at home. I understand there's a lot of problems with our education system, but that is just not having any oversight and pretty much letting your kids get some sort of like GED or whatever the homeschool thing is without actually learning enough to get them set up for stuff like college.
Our Brittany, or Bratney as I sometimes call her, is difficult. I love Brittany, but these days I don't like her much. That is so sad.
Like, legitimately, I want you to think about actually saying that about one of your own children. This is despicable. It shows this woman hates these kids' guts. It's like, why did you freaking go out and have 2 children then if you're literally gonna be raising them to be just these robots that are subservient to you that you also hate and can't wait to get rid of once they become the legal age to throw out to the curb? She literally just calls her own daughter Bratney. Like, dude, you can't make a nickname for your own kid. That's literally bullying your own child. And claims that she loves her, but lately does not like her own child. It's like, okay, I wonder what Bratney has to think about you and being such a Karen that is just helicopter parenting her way through high school, and then that's it. You pretty much have no support.
Okay, there's a problem right there. That's why these kids have freaky hair and probably have pierced all the parts of their bodies that nobody wants to hear about.
Okay, dude. First of all, why the hell did your brain go right there? Like, what? That was just a weird freaking comment to make. Also, you can tell this lady is so judgmental of appearances, it's not even funny. But I guess that does kind of fall in line, her and her values. She seems like a very freaking judgmental woman. God forbid a kid have some cool hair. I know this was the early 2000s and things were a little bit different, but even then, you are such a Karen if you actually care about that stuff. Enough to call people freaks that you literally don't even know.
I can't believe they're saying this about their kids.
This is going to be the longest week of my life. I'd rather be in labor with triplets.
And as you can see, this woman is very excited. And I mean, even in the beginning of this experiment, she's having a tough time. As the next morning, she wakes up and she sees this place is pretty messy since they had some friends over the night before, had a little party at their house, and she wants to clean, but she can't. So I will give her props. She's actually one of the few freaking people on this show that follow the rules when they swap families and actually hold back from cleaning or vice versa. Everybody seems to break that rule, and I don't know why it pisses me off so much. And I guess just as a flex to show how open-minded this family is, I'm sure the TV show kind of coaxed them into doing this, but their son turns 16, and for his birthday present, he gets to go in and get a septum piercing. You can just look at this woman's face and see that she is not having a good time. Like, literally, this is a traumatic event for her to see this go down. Meanwhile, everyone else in the family is like, yeah, whatever.
Fishnet stockings and army boots. She wouldn't go out of my house looking like that.
But why wouldn't you?
Because it gives the appearance of evilness.
Of evilness, dude. Oh my god, that is actually insane. Like, literally, to think that somebody could dress evil is kind of a hilarious thought to me. This woman is just so close-minded and not accepting of anything else outside of her vision of normal that it is just frustrating to watch. She sees these alternative outfits and she's literally like, you guys are all agents of Satan. You are banishing me to hell just by looking at you. So like, okay, no, chill out a little bit. These are just people practicing some self-expression. And instead, this woman sees her children as an extension of herself, which is another thing entirely that we could get into, that a lot of people who have this really strict, restrictive lifestyle that this woman has with her family seem to fall into this trend of just believing that your child's style and the way they present themselves somehow has an effect on you. I guess when you're seen out in public, if you're a narcissist, you could think that, but it's truly not true. And restricting your child from having self-expression when it comes to their style or anything like that is just never going to lead anywhere good, all right?
But some of the most evil people wear like three-piece suits.
I know that, but I just, if you want people to see you in a different light, then I think you would, I don't know.
And see, this lady can't even make up a sentence to come up with in support of her own BS idea, but I like what that dude said. It's true. A lot of the most evil people are actually in three-piece suits made by, some expensive suit maker. Not these people. But anyways, they take their evil drip and go out to a punk show where also this woman just does not have a good freaking time. I mean, listen to this music. It is pretty abrasive. And I laugh thinking about how much this family probably planned this just in order to get the biggest reaction from this woman. Like, the band doesn't even sound that good. This dude just looks like a Walmart version of the singer of Green Day. I don't even know the dude's name. But listen to what this lady has to say about this. This is probably my favorite quote from her for the entire episode.
I would not have allowed my children to go see people that run into each other they run into each other. To me, that is just stupid.
Yes, lady, that is what is called a mosh pit. I love the thought of her seeing people just moshing here at this small little dive bar wherever they're at. It's like a local show and everything, not even that intense of a crowd. And she's like, they're all jumping into each other and throwing elbows. It just seems dangerous and flippant.
And I know that you guys don't see it as different, but from where I'm from,
Sure, no,
it's very, very different.
But aren't we just like other people?
You are, but it's culture shock to me.
So now they're at a little family breakfast or lunch the day after the show, and this woman is taking every opportunity to just remind this family that they're weird and different. It's like, yes, obviously, it's because they're just not conforming to what a lot of people in society, including you, see as the mold. But that doesn't make them like lesser people, but she really sees them as lesser than her, and you could tell just by the way she talks to them.
They're just scary to me. I know that you people are godly, wonderful people, but it's the appearance that scares me to death.
Dude, I am so sorry. I should never really be laughing at somebody crying, but this is such a childish thing to cry about. Literally, she's like, you guys, you dress different, and you like that rock and roll music, and it's just, I'm a little scared. Like, what the hell do you have to be scared of? Please, this is a TV show you're participating in, lady. They're not gonna be taking you up the mountain and sacrificing a goat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? This is a pretty normal family too. Like, this is just disrespectful that she is so in fear of these people just by how they dress.
I think she stereotyped us since day one. She thought we were devil worshippers because of our appearance. I mean, I'm wearing a freaking polo shirt. And slacks.
And it's true. I mean, look at this guy. Yeah, he looks alternative, but he doesn't even look that gothic. That's how they're framing this. This dude just looks like he'd be in some crappy ska band. You know what I'm saying? And he even points out he's wearing a polo, slacks, and dress shoes. They're really stretching this idea that this is just some demonic looking family. And this lady is running with this idea that because they enjoy the color black and listen to rock and roll, they are truly evil.
If you grow a little curly tail and you walk around oinking, we're going to call you a pig. If you walk around looking like a freak, we're going to call you a freak.
And listen to that. Listen to what she just said and tell me that is not a bully. Literally, that is just calling somebody a freak for the way that they dress or look. So you know what? That's why I have no respect for this woman or people like her. It's just so ridiculous that she can throw stones from such a glass house, and she allows her religion to just make her so judgmental and not understanding of other people's situations, and it really makes her come off in not the best light at all. Calling this random family that is accepting her honestly with pretty open arms. The family has been very go with the flow in terms of this show. When it comes to all the previous families, they seem to have a lot more friction, yet this lady still just can't have a good time because she sees them as evil. So anyway, she spends some more time crying out in front of that restaurant, and it's the next day where they again have a party at this house, inviting some friends over, and something interesting happens. Let me show you here.
Will you pray?
Yeah, I'll pray.
All right, thanks.
Lord, we just come before you today. We thank you for this food that brought you.
First I thought they were devil worshippers, now I find out that they're Christians.
That's right. They literally have a prayer with their friends who apparently are also Christians before eating their dinner. And you know what? Maybe that's not even something they do regularly. Maybe that was something they did to make her feel included, but it just once again shows how open-minded this family is versus her. And watch, I guarantee you the rest of the show, she's gonna have such a different attitude, it's not even gonna be funny.
I'll just have to look into it a little more and be more open-minded rather than being a closed-minded person like I think that I've probably been being.
Yeah, that was a light way to put it. You've definitely been very close-minded. And also, I love that she thinks this is her being open-minded. It's actually the opposite if you think about it. This is still her following her rigid structure of who she thinks she can have relationships with or even treat on a human level, basically people who share her same faith. And only now that she has given evidence that these people also believe in the same thing as her, is she gonna give them a chance and see them as human and treat them with decency and respect that they have been showing her. So that's not being open-minded, that's just more allowing your biases to continue. So anyway, now for the second half, they switch rules and basically this woman says, you guys gotta dress up in some more classy clothes that are less emo and goth, and I'm gonna make you have a tutor, which is something that's pretty important, and it shows that this woman does care about these kids. It's just very misguided, obviously. But I do think it's a good call to give the kids a tutor, and once again, all three of these teenagers in this family make the show kind of boring because they're pretty accepting of it all. Of course, they're bummed, but I think that once they understand they're getting a better education and having more focus on it, they might enjoy it a little bit more.
Do you think that they're at their grade level appropriately?
No. At this point, no.
And I mean, even from this tutor's mouth, you can see that these kids are below their grade level when it comes to education. So while I do seem one-sided in these videos sometimes, that is still a major red flag with this other family, the Rock family, because you gotta focus on your kids' education. I don't even think the school offers you much valuable information after a certain point. I'll agree that the public school system is a failure in the current state that it's in, but it also is like the most bottom of the rung requirement to pretty much participate in a active way in society nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, for you to just have a basic job, you got to get a diploma. So if I ever had kids, God forbid, I would hate that thought, but if I did ever have kids, I would at least make them go through high school. Then after that, I don't give a damn.
Brittany would love this. She would be so excited. She would. This would be just fantastic to her.
And in a mind-blowing change of events, this woman actually allows the daughters here to give her a bit of a rock/alternative makeover, and they do a pretty good job. She's kind of giving me vibes of the principal from School of Rock, just trying way too hard to be something she's not, but I'll still give her credit. And it's funny though that she uses this as an opportunity to find out the most basic idea of actually spending time with her daughter, and it might improve their relationship. It's crazy that she had to have this experience to have that thought come into her head, as if this is some forbidden knowledge that she would have never known. It's like something they don't teach you in mother school, that you should actually care about your child and spend time with them even if they're a stubborn teenager.
I mean, I'm not like saying let her go out fishing in short skirts or anything, but maybe just kind of
But give her more freedom
Yeah,
than I actually do.
And honestly, if it doesn't show you how well these girls are being raised in other ways, I don't know what will. Just the way that they explain this to this woman is very grown up and mature, and they're not trying to attack her. They're just saying the positives of what would come of her spending time with her daughter and hearing her out a little bit more and understanding that she's starting to form her own opinions that might be different from hers. And turns out she's about as good of a musician as you would expect a woman who's never listened to anything close to adjacent to rock.
Well, I think I should maybe spend a little more time with my daughter.
The hardest part is going to be giving your daughter the room to breathe so that she doesn't grow up and resent you.
And in the final dinner here, before the families swap back, the father of this rock family does give this woman a very good point. She's got to find that balance of teaching her child the ideals that she wants to teach her, but also giving her the amount of freedom that will cause her to not hate them. Because as soon as they pull this, oh, you're 18, you got to get out of the house and make something of yourself thing after they've already been restricting her entire life up until that point, that's how you get no contact from your children. And that's something very confusing that parents don't seem to understand. There's like a disconnect, almost as if some children are meant to, withstand 18 years of basically being punished for existing and then want to have a good relationship with you once they move out. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You got to really make sure that you nurture your home and your relationship with your children before they leave the nest. But yeah, I think I'm going to save the parents meeting section for the next part of this video, but that was this one side of the episode. I'm trying these in a different way. It looks like after they filmed the show, thankfully, they kept up with a tutor, and this family overall seemed very good going into this show, but they just seem a little bit closer and more focused on keeping things like their house cleaner, so that is overall a good time. But yeah, I want to know what you thought of this very, very, very extreme Karen. She seemed to have an issue with everything in this episode, don't know why, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and if you were equally annoyed with her as I was. As always, this is just my opinion. I appreciate you guys watching till the very end. Shout out to my patrons for supporting me, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in another video. Peace out.